I want to talk a little bit about assets versus liability. Historically, when you come to the States or you're in America and you are seen as economically disadvantaged or underprivileged or from a different country or just for some other reason less than, you kind of view your minority status as a liability that you have to get over. And I'm here to say that actually it's the opposite. You're an asset that's desperately needed in our global economy. I want you to walk away with that absorbed into your very being, because it's a very different way that we think about ourselves as underrepresented people in this society. And I was just fortunate to be born in West Africa and not be pre-programmed that way. But I want you to accept that if you are pre-programmed that way, it's time to reprogram. So, by all intents and purposes, I'm supposed to be a minority in a lot of different respects. Again, that's what they say. Well, there's a difference between what people see me as and what I see myself as. There's a difference between what people see you as walking into a company and what you see yourself as. And I want to challenge you to walk into a company, the next company you go to, seeing yourself as just as good or better than whomever you come across. Mind diversity for me is not a liability, it's an asset. Mind diversity allows a company to be able to design solutions that can reach a bigger population globally than it would if it were homogeneous. I want you to really think about that. I want you to really absorb that. And I want you to really walk into every situation going forward understanding that. So I started my career as a young black woman coming out of Rutgers University. I wasn't even technical to start. I entered Accenture and I learned how to code in 3 weeks. Liability or asset? What would you say? Asset, right? I went to 2 years later, I went up to the partner at the company and said, hey, I think I can do strategy work. There were very few women, certainly no young black girls at the age of, 24, doing strategy. I stuck with him, I chased him down, I kept asking him, eventually he put me on a project, and I did that for the last 2 years. Asset, liability. I would call it perseverance. Asset, liability. I would say it's an asset. I went on to get recruited at NICE, where at the time, there was 1 week maternity leave for women. And there were smoking rooms in the building. And so, if you can imagine what a boys club looked like in 1999, it was not pretty. Again, I outlasted everyone I started with by 17 years. Asset, liability. You figure that out. My boss made fun of me when I was pregnant with my second son and said, you're likely to go home and not come back. You're going to be a full-time mom. Okay. Upon my return, I came back, and he had a really close pal who he thought should take my position. And so he said to me, you guys go ahead, have a horse race. Let's see who wins. Okay. I thought the approach he was taking was a selfish one. He was not knowledge sharing and he wasn't doing the best thing for the company. So I said, game on. We went at it. I won. He left. My boss reported to me 3 months later. Asset or liability? Again, you can think of yourself as what people label you as, or you can realize very clearly that you are and you will continue to be an asset.